Sales price matrices in CenterPoint are installed when the inventory module is installed in CenterPoint. Prior to sales price, the inventory module being installed, only simple pricing or item level pricing is available for your sales items. That simple pricing or item level pricing structure is still available for your items even when the inventory module is installed, and non-tracked items will continue to use that method. To verify that the inventory method has been set up and registered, you would want to go to File and to Administration and to the Module Configuration Manager. And in the Module Configuration Manager, you just want to make sure that there's a check mark next to inventory and that it says owned. If there's a check mark next to it and it doesn't say owned, then it's likely that you need to re-register your product. When you purchase the inventory module, if you purchased it after your initial purchase, you should have been given a new registration code to unlock that module. If you've made any changes in here, when you click OK, you're going to need to go ahead and exit out of the program and come back in before you'll see that module actually get installed. So you actually have to exit out and come back in if you've just checked that. Okay, prior to going ahead and setting up price matrices, I want to talk about a couple preferences that we need to look at. We're going to go to File and to Preferences here. And the first preference we're going to talk about is underneath General, and is the option for cost and price decimal. We want to tell the system how many decimal places we want for our prices, and we're going to do that on the Database tab because this is not something that we would want to change from user to user. So we've disabled the other tabs, and we're only allowing you to set this at the Database tab. The default number of decimal places for prices is 2 decimal places. And the same for cost. You can set it from anywhere from 0 to 8 decimal places. We're going to leave ours at 2, but again, you can change that if you need to. Then I'm going to come down to items, and I'm going to go to price levels. Okay, this one also is set at the Database tab, and the default in CenterPoint is to have 3 price levels. Now, normally these price levels say sales price level 1, sales price level 2, sales price level 3. I went ahead and I edited mine and I changed the abbreviation in the name. But you can choose however many price levels you need. You can go anywhere from 1 on up and go ahead and just change the figure here. Like if I were to add a 4 here, it would add a new sales price level, and then I could come down here and give that sales price level a name as well. I'm going to change mine back to 3. But I wanted to point out these sales price levels because you're going to see those different levels later, and you're going to wonder why we had 3 levels, and that is actually a choice that you get to make, but the default is set to 3. Now I said prior to setting up sales price matrices and prior to installing the inventory module, you only had simple pricing method, which is done at item level for each item, and that price level or that pricing option continues even with the inventory module installed. So just to show you what I mean by that, if I went to setup and I went to inventory and I went to items here, if I went into an item like my economy bike packages that we sell, I could go to the pricing tab. So as I'm setting up an item, we have a pricing tab, and there are a couple different price level options here. The first one is a price method called fixed pricing with no quantity breaks, where I could just enter in the price that I would charge each level of customer for this item. So I could have like $129 for my bronze level, $129 for my bronze level, $119 for my gold level, and then maybe $109 for my platinum level customers. Okay, another option that we have on this simple pricing is what we call a fixed pricing with a quantity break, where you can say that from 1 to 100 items that they purchase from us, their price level is going to be the $129, the $119, and the $109. But if they purchase more than 100 items, we're maybe going to give them a discount. So we're going to say that they pay $125, $115, and $105. Okay. And we could have as many different levels as you need to, but those are the two options that are available prior to price matrix. But it also means that you have to enter in the price on each and every item. Well, you might have several items that use the same pricing structure. So that's where price matrices become helpful, because you could set up the price matrix one time and assign it to multiple items. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and look at setting up a price matrix. To set up a price matrix, you would go ahead and go to Setup, Sales, and Price Matrices. You can see that I don't have any price matrices set up yet. Well, I have a number of items in our inventory that we actually sell based off of a percentage of cost. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and a percentage over cost. So we're going to go ahead and set up a new price matrix. And I'm going to call this one cost percentage. Okay, and then we come down to the method. Okay, so we have those two methods that we had when we were setting up the inventory item, the one called fixed pricing with no breaks. I could go ahead and put in fixed pricing here, and I could then go ahead and assign this matrix to multiple items if I charge that same price for multiple items. Okay, you could have a fixed pricing matrix that has quantity breaks. So I could set one up with different quantity breaks, like 1 to 100 and the 129, the 119, the 109, the 110 to whatever. We would have the 125, the 115, and the 105. So you could have a price matrix that is structured kind of like the fixed quantity with quantity breaks that we set up on the individual item, but then assign that same pricing structure to multiple items, okay, without having to recreate it and type in those prices each time. Okay, the new methods that we have are, first off, we have one called gross profit margin percentage, which the gross profit margin percentage is the percentage of the selling price that is profit. Okay, we can choose the cost markup percentage. The cost markup percentage is the percentage of total cost that is profit. Okay, and we can also go ahead and do the base price percentage, which is the percentage of base price. Okay, so we can go ahead and choose one of those methods. I'm going to go ahead and choose cost markup percentage, and I'm going to go ahead and put in different cost markup percentages. So we're going to say that for our bronze customers, it's 45%. For our gold customers, it's 40%. And for our platinum level customers, it's 45%. Now, over on the right-hand side, I could also do that with quantity breaks by putting in 0 to a level, and then, you know, like let's say I put in 0 to 100 here, then it would have another level, 100 to 999,000, and so on. So I could put in different levels, or if I only have one level or one structure, I can leave it like this, and I'm just going to go ahead and leave it like this. Then over here on the right-hand side, you can tell the system if this creates a number that needs to be rounded, where do you want to round it to? Do you want to round it to the nearest tenth of a cent? Do you want to round it to a penny, a dime, or a dollar? Okay. If you don't want any rounding, you just go ahead and select none. Okay. You also have the option of adjusting to. So I could adjust the selling price to a specific fraction of a dollar. So for example, if I went ahead and said that my adjustment was to 95 cents, like this, 0.95 there. Okay, and the selling price is always going to end in 0.95. such as if the price came to $10.41, we would round it up to $10.95. So it would go rounded to the nearest 0.95. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and also take that out, and we're not going to use that as well. We're not going to do any rounding on our items. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. And now we need to be able to assign a price matrix to, we could have as many price matrices as we need, so I could continue to add new price matrices. And then when you're done, you want to make sure that you assign those to your items as you create those items. So I'm going to go in and edit one of my items. I'm going to go to Setup and Inventory and Items. And we're going to go in and we're going to edit the standard bike package one. And go to the pricing tab. Now I still have my original methods of fixed pricing with no quantity breaks and fixed pricing with quantity breaks. But if I am assigning a price matrix to this item, I also have 4 other choices. I could assign one price matrix to this entire item where I just select that, and then I go ahead and select the price matrix that I want to assign to this item. Okay. Or I could assign a different price matrix for each unit of measure. Well, I only have 1 unit of measure for this item, so that's not going to be one that I'm going to choose. But I could also have a different price matrix per location. When you choose that, what it does is it fills the grid with your different inventory locations, and then you can choose which price matrix you want to use for each location in the price matrix box there. So if I had multiple price matrices, I could have a different price matrix per location. This would be the same type of thing that it would do if I had assigned it per unit of measure. It would have the different unit of measures here, and I could assign the different price matrix per unit of measure. And then, of course, the last option is to assign a different price matrix per location and per unit of measure for each location. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and leave mine at just one price matrix for the entire item. Okay, and we go ahead and click Save and Close. Okay, so that's how we assign it to an item. There is a report that we can print out to show us all the different price matrices that we've set up. So we could go to Reports, and I'm going to go to the Reports tab here and go to Setup Lists, and we could go to Sales, and there should be one here for Sales Price Matrices where I can go ahead and preview this, and I would just get a listing of my different sales price matrices and also the different levels for that. So it appears that I didn't save the prices on those. I'd have to go back and look at it. Actually, this is the sales price. I would want the percentage on those. So I might have to add different columns because it's not actually the sales price there. But it would allow you to print off a report off of your different matrices then. So that is the report for sales price matrices.